You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James Mennie over at the Montreal Gazette. We forgot to ask Jim for his song.
I think we just played it.
You could say it is this song by the Jaggers. James, do you have a particular song that you like that when you're feeling kind of, bad or in a bad mood, you like to listen to? Like a favorite song that way?
That would alleviate pain.
That alleviates pain.
Yeah, if you're in a, sort of
there's a
Vodka alleviates pain.
There is that. There is that.
Okay.
But while I'm drinking vodka,
Yes.
I guess I like to listen to Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Music that I grew up with.
Okay.
Because when I grew up, I wasn't in pain. I only went into pain when I started drinking vodka.
Right.
Comfortably numb.
Time to reassess
Oh,
life choices, perhaps. Jim, let me start off with our story today concerning public transit. This one kind of came out of nowhere. Cities telling us, regional mayors got together, letting the province know, hey, the system is basically short of money, and if we don't get some, we're going to stop, using the metro. Good luck after 11 o'clock at night. Now, today, I know, Geneviève Guilbeault was going to say something on this, but Jim, I want you to hear what she did say, and then tell me just how optimistic you are that the province is going to be helping out. Listen to this.
You'll have to ask that to the mayor of Montreal, because as I just said, we don't take any decisions regarding those operations. We don't take any decisions. Even more, we are not consulted when they take decisions. They don't call us and say, should we do that? Should we do that? No. And if I called them to say, here is what I think about your operations, what do you think they would say? Mind your own business. But when it's time to pay, they ask us for money.
That sounds promising. What do you think?
It sounds like they've been passing around the old belligerence jug up in the cabinet there, hasn't it?
Yeah, it does.
It's like, she was asked about money, and she turns around and says, well, no, they run it the way they see fit, and she sort of sidesteps the question. Provincial governments have for decades contributed to, the operations of public transit throughout Quebec, specifically in Montreal as well. But the fact is, to a certain extent, there's posturing going on both sides. When they turn around, they say they're going to shut down the metro at 11 o'clock, and they won't be able to open it up until 9 o'clock in the morning on weekends, and we'll have to lay off drivers and so on and so forth. I think this sniping is sort of taking away from the real issue here, that is downtown Montreal, which is at best sort of semi-staggering to its feet, or semi-staggering up to being on all fours, and needs just like a hole in the head. Public transit is the lifeblood of downtown Montreal, and if there are indeed even minor changes made to the existing offer of service, you're going to have problems down the road. Because let's face it, people are not going to go to their cars not because they're not concerned about the environment so much as when they go to work at 9 o'clock in the morning, they would like to be able to get home by say 6 or 7 o'clock the following Tuesday. So this is the reality of Montreal now. Nothing moves in Montreal. It's traffic hell. So if Montreal gets caught in the crossfire on this, all I can say is we're going to have bigger problems than how many metros are running and what the frequency is, but there's plenty of blame to go around on this one, guys. Let's face it, Montreal is not front and center to the CAQ government's priorities, but on the other hand, all I've seen out of Montreal public planning, and indeed regional public transit planning has been a lot of maps, a lot of big dreams, a lot of, and they always end with several billions of dollars, whether it's the pink line or the orange line. My God, the orange line was down for an hour this week. People had to trudge through the tunnels to get to a station. This is not a world-class transit system. I'm very sorry. And I remember when it was. There were some changes at the STM, and all of a sudden things began to get a little bit wonky in terms of service. Mm-hmm. It was very, very nebulous in terms of where they wanted to go. Mm-hmm. The fact that the buses were running at a certain frequency, and you could rely on a metro car to be there, every 5 minutes or so. These were huge steps forward for the STM. But all that seems to be on the bubble now, and I'm still convinced that even the public transit system as in and of itself has not recovered from that huge crash that it endured over the course of the pandemic. So I think on the one hand, we're hearing a typical, two-level political argument going on here. But on the other, I think there's far more at stake than the face or ego of the province or the city of Montreal. I think to a certain extent, the future of Montreal is hanging on what happens with this financing or lack of it.
So I mentioned this to Natasha this morning when we were talking about this story, and I said, is it just me? Am I in a dream here? Or do you remember a time, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, before the last municipal election, when someone was floating the idea of free public transit for Montrealers?
Yeah.
You remember that? Was that Ballarama?
Oh,
I don't even remember.
And it was 95
there's always
million,
somebody at the back of the room who raises their hand and floats this one. I mean, I'll be frank with you. I was very surprised when, if you're on the island of Montreal, you're over 65, public transit is free.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that they were able to actually pull that off. On the other hand, if you want me to be very, very nasty, and I know to a certain extent that's what I get paid to do, maybe it wouldn't be such an issue covering the deficits of Quebec public transit authorities if the Legault government wasn't throwing billions at foreign companies to have them come here and build batteries.
Well, that's an interesting take. Yeah, although their argument would be, Jim, I guess, down the road that will pay off handsomely, but with a lot more, like 10 times the investment we made originally. But, I mean, that's what they say.
I know down the road very well, Aaron, and I think you do as well. And sometimes that little house on the corner is not a gas station.
No, you're right. Okay.
Okay, I'd like to talk about this story, or what I would really like to do is be, there when Trudeau's deciding what announcements he's going to make and what direction he's going to go and things, and have him think for a moment about whether or not Pierre Poilievre is going to have a total and complete heyday with it. And if he thinks, oh yes, the answer to that is he's absolutely going to love every minute of this, maybe he should do it in a different way or make a different announcement. So this is about the carbon tax, Jim.
Well, it worked. I mean, we complain about Pierre Poilievre's style, and with complete justification.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact is, it worked. And Justin Trudeau, by climbing down on this, by giving especially rural Canadians, who are perhaps perceived by the Liberal Party as being far more likely at this point to vote for Poilievre than for them, giving them a 3-year tax exemption for home heating oil. And the fact is, it's certainly aimed at Atlantic Canada because apparently most people in Atlantic Canada use oil to heat their homes, which is kind of funny because you'd think that the Prime Minister of all Canadians, or at least his entourage or his civil service, would know that. But I'm getting the distinct impression that, for all his talk about diversity, a word that comes out of his head at least, 9 times a day, I think Justin Trudeau has to understand that diversity isn't just based on, your ethnic origin or the color of your skin or what your name is or how you worship. Diversity is how you live, and not everyone in Canada lives the same way. The people in Toronto don't live the same way as the people in Halifax, don't live the same way as the people in Saskatoon. And the idea that he's done this now, there's no way he can dress up this climb down as being anything other than that. And there's no way Pierre Poilievre can be assailed for turning around at a rally, his next rally, which I don't know, maybe he'll have one tonight, and saying, look what we did. We got him finally. And he's saying this online already.
He is, yeah.
He's admitting that his plan was stupid, it's wrong, and that you can't afford him. So this is a flat-out, not just a flat-out defeat for Justin Trudeau. We also, Poilievre gets the bonus points for actually having Trudeau announce the terms of surrender.
He's in St. John's today, by the way, Pierre Poilievre, and is loving every minute of this.
It might be worth remembering, too, Jim, I could be wrong here. The last time we had a federal election, by the time the votes from the Maritimes came in, we knew that the Liberals were going to win this election. So, and we know since then, flagging support for the Liberals out there, this is a way, I hate to say it this way, but to buy back votes, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. But the crazy thing is, and for as long as, the more than 1 decade that I've been on this show, I can't think of any time when I have described the Atlantic provinces as being solidly, reliably red. Those days are gone. Yeah. Right? Provincial level, they're voting conservative, and the fact that he actually had to do this, he's probably seeing numbers that scared him more privately than the public numbers are scaring his caucus.
I think that's true.
I hate to keep, kicking his dead horse, but if there was ever a reason or an argument for Justin Trudeau perhaps to spend the rest of his life doing something other than leading of the Liberal Party, I think today is a very good example.
James Mennie at the Montreal Gazette. Jim, you have a good weekend. Thank you so much.
You too, guys.